When you can't push one more second, chase the glory. Visez haut.
We are athletes.
Do you know what Husky athletes are made of?
Determination.
Hustle.
Resilience.
We're part of a team and a community.
We work hard for every goal and every grade.
Do you know what Husky athletes become?
Pharmacists, teachers, professionals,
Olympians.
When you invest in student athletes, you invest in the future.
When you elevate her, you elevate the game.
Watch women win.
Everyone watches Husky women's sports.
See her.
Be her.
U-Sports on CBC, presented by les championnats U-Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada, Nike, Fox 40, Veriburn Medical Supplies, Les Bagues Baron Rings, APAR, and by BioSteel.
Welcome to the 2025 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship on CBC. I'm Amber Mayer alongside Josh Karsgaard as we get set to bring you this U Sports Consolation Semifinal matchup between the Memorial Seahawks and the McMaster Marauders. Now, if we take a look at how these teams got to this position, Memorial had a tough quarterfinal matchup yesterday, falling to the #1 seed and Canada West champions, the Alberta Pandas. They lost in straight sets. Memorial earned their 8th seed spot as a wild card in the tournament after finishing second in AUS behind the St. Mary's Huskies out of Halifax. And on the opposite side of the floor, the McMaster Marauders, they entered the tournament as the #4 seed and the OUA champs, but dropped a tightly contested 5th set battle against the 5th seed, the Montreal Carabins, in their quarterfinal. These two teams looking at a chance of redemption. Obviously a disappointing start to be on the consolation side, but there is a lot of volleyball left for them to play at this national weekend. Now, we have a couple players we're going to be keeping an eye on throughout the broadcast. Josh, tell us a little bit about who we're going to zone in on.
Yeah, so first here on the visiting team, the McMaster Marauders, we're looking at Olivia Julian. She is a massive threat offensively and from the service line. She was number 2 in OUA, 4 service aces with 43 in conference play. She's a reliable source of offense, 46 total attempts in the quarterfinal. She's also a conference first-team All-Star after her OUA play. She's a stellar. We're going to be watching her today. She's going to be rock solid for the McMaster Marauders. Solid performance. Quarterfinal yesterday against Montreal. She had 17 kills, 15 digs. She's a huge difference maker on both offense and defense as well. And now back on the other side of the net on Memorial, we're looking at Sarah Trowbridge. She's all-star libero. She's fantastic. She's averaging over 4 digs a set, 324 digs in the regular season. She earned MVP honors amongst her team in their last 2023-2024 season's athletic awards. And she was yesterday's Mikasa Player of the Game in the quarterfinal.
These teams will take a quick second after their warm-up. Opening serve coming your way shortly. Folks, your officials for this afternoon's matchup, your first official, Nicholas Foos, your second official, Chris Getz, and your lines people for this matchup, Crystal Smy, Stino Saragusa, Win LaFleur, and Chris Chong. All right, let's get you the starting lineups for this afternoon's game, starting with Memorial University. Third year on the outside for Main Point, Newfoundland, number 1, Courtney Hodder. Third year setter from Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, number 4, Karen Greek. First year outside from Kipling, Saskatchewan, number 7, Olivia DeDecker. Fourth year outside from St. Louis, Missouri, number 16, Lydia Grauer. Third year middle from Orillia, Ontario, number 17, Ashlyn Harris. Second year middle from Tacoma, Saskatchewan, number 20, Taylor Johnston. And fourth year libero, our player to watch, number 5, Sarah Trowbridge. They are coached by Sydney Rom.
And now, fans, it's time to introduce the starting lineup for the McMaster University Marauders.
And starting for McMaster. Fourth year outside from Milton, Ontario, number 1, Emma McKinnon. second year outside from Toronto. Number 4, Olivia Julian, our one to watch. Fourth year outside from Ottawa. Number 5, Sully Sundara. Fourth year outside from Burlington, Ontario. Number 6, Haley Brooks. Or pardon me, that was Abby Delamere out of Toronto, number 16. Number 18 out of Oakville, Ontario, Chase Victoria, their setter. And their second year middle out of Hamilton, Ontario, Angelica Vidmar. There we go. There's Haley Brooks wearing the libero jersey out of Burlington, Ontario. And the second year libero out of Ottawa, Victoria Potvin. Head coach for the Marauders is Nathan Jansen.
Yeah, we're in for a great match. It's just like you said, just because we're on the consolation side, these games don't mean any less to either of these teams. There's still a lot to play for. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here. It's a good turnout. We got lots of fans for both the Marauders and the Seahawks in the stands, who I'm sure are going to get loud as soon as we get underway here.
To start us off for the Seahawks, it'll be number 16, Lydia Grauer. Pass up from the Marauders is a little shaky. Free ball sent over. Looking outside. The Decker called on a net violation on her attack. That'll be point for McMaster.
Yeah, similar to yesterday's games, it's going to be about who can settle into this game sooner. Again, it's a big stage, big court. You're in nationals, at the national championships. Who can settle in first? Just relax, play your systems normally, and start to get into a rhythm here early.
Julian to serve. It's a decent pass up for Memorial, flicking it back to Grauer. That one will not clear the net.
Yeah, it's a nice set from Karen Greek, but Grauer just a little bit low into the tape.
Enough. Nice, tough float serve. The block does land out of bounds. That'll count as a kill for DeDecker.
Yeah, nice swing from Olivia DeDecker there, using the block to her advantage. It's a sealed double block. She goes off the outside hand of the block and out of bounds. Would have been in a tough spot to start with 3 back-to-back errors, so it's a good job to earn that kill.
DeDecker to serve. That one just skims over, going outside to Sundara, tipping. Good coverage by Memorial. They have a chance to recycle here. Nice pickup by Sundara. Pardon me, all the way outside to Sundara there. Net violation called on Sully Sundara.
Yeah, she does a great job getting inside the court to meet that ball where it's landing. It wasn't going to make it all the way out to the pin, but unfortunately when you're stretching out like that, it's kind of tough to miss the top of the net sometimes. Good eyes from the official.
Nice pass up from Brooks. And a well-placed tip off the hand of Delamere.
Yeah, not pretty, maybe not the huge bounce, the huge kill she wanted, but counts for the same on the scoreboard. Nice job finding the open court, no defender in sight.
Delamere now back to serve. Pass up from Hodder goes up and over, but a bump kill will count. Taylor Johnston now back to serve for Memorial. Pass up from Sundara. Looking in the middle for a bit of a paintbrush from Vidmar. Awkward angle for Courtney Hodder, but she handles it beautifully going cross court.
That's a great swing from Courtney Hodder. Goes all the way across the court, really sharp, just past the attack line to tag the outside of the court. Only one blocker. Middle didn't get out to close for some reason. Maybe she thought she was going to stay down because the ball was off the net. Either way, it's great execution.
Pass up from Julian, looking in the middle. Another middle run from Angelica Vidmar. I like that McMaster is establishing their middle prowess early here in set one.
Yeah, if you establish that middle early, the middle on the other side of the net isn't going to be able to bail out to go block the outsides. They're going to have to stay true in the middle to stay on their assignment. So it's going to open up the outsides.
Hodder on the attack, looking deep, but goes a hair long.
Memorial looking for a touch there, but I didn't see one myself. It looked like she went just over top of the block and out. A few early errors from Memorial, but they're only down one.
Emma McKinnon serving. Nice pass up outside. Hodder getting a lot of volume. Outside now for Sully Sandara.
That is a statement kill. Nicely done. Right into the seam of the block, straight down to the floor, just past the 3-meter line. Nice swing.
Pass up from Grar. Going back row to DeDecker. Off the block and out of bounds. DeDecker picking up the pipe kill.
Nice swing from the first year out of Kipling, Saskatchewan. She's certainly not playing like a first year right now. Has a couple of kills, served really well in that last rotation. She's playing really well early in this set.
And an ace to follow it up. That off the hand of Karen Greek.
That ball dropped out. I think that took the libero a little bit by surprise, but it dropped right in front of her about 2 feet. Really nice serve. It bottomed out really quick as soon as it came over the tape.
It's a better pass from the Marauders. Tipped over by Sandara. Some crafty play here from Sully Sandara.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Ashlyn Harris there. She's trying to get off the net, but she also has to worry about staying on her blocking assignment. It's really tough as a middle to come down, turn, recognize where that ball's dropping, and then pick it up.
Sandara now back to serve. A heavy-handed topspin serve, free ball-ish, sent over by Memorial. Another middle run. I like that McMaster is even trying to force the middle in transition play where it's not a perfect pass, but Angelica Vidmar showing some athleticism on that play.
Yeah, they're making a very concerted effort to really establish the middle early on here.
The deep serve from Sandara. She kind of laughs that one off, knowing it wasn't the truest contact, but drills down and tags the end line perfectly.
Yeah, head coach Sydney Rome, all she could do is point at that ball dropping on the end line. There was no mistake in that one. Talking to her players, telling them, it's all right, we'll move on, we'll pass the next ball.
And a friendly bounce from the net tape. Back-to-back aces for Sully Sandara.
You think she's gotten away with a couple there. The first one barely tags the end line. That one barely tags the tape and rolls over, but hey, 2 aces are 2 aces, and McMaster find themselves up 10-6 early.
Yeah, Sydney Rom going to use a timeout to gather her Seahawks. Bit of a service run getting strung together here by Sully Sandara. The U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship presented by Sunrise Credit Union is headed to the campus at Brandon University March 21st through 23rd next weekend. Ticket packages for the tournament are almost sold out, so scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen or visit usporttickets.ca to guarantee your seat. The 2025 U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship presented by Sunrise Credit Union in Brandon, Manitoba. Chase the glory. What a treat as a Manitoban to have both of these championships this year within our province. It's very exciting to just happen to get the women's bid and the men's bid. You know, Manitobans love their volleyball.
Yeah, what an amazing weekend this week. We've seen so much incredible volleyball already, and that'll no doubt continue for the rest of today, tomorrow, and then next weekend in Brandon, there's going to be another weekend full of amazing volleyball.
Sandara will be looking to continue this service run. Memorial needs a bit of a break, but another ace for Sandara it'll be.
Coach Rome hoping to ice Sandara from the service line, but maybe that just gave her a minute to collect herself and deliver a strike when she came back out after 2 shaky aces but before that timeout.
Trowbridge gets a one hand over it. Free ball sent over by the Seahawks. And another middle run. Vidmar pad in her stat sheet.
That is a monster serve. Nicely done. They generate a free ball over and make no mistake in free ball. Great middle swing. Good kill. Seahawks really have to find a way out of this serve before she gets rolling even more.
Pass up from Trowbridge. Very tight to the net. Otter's there to back it up though. Sundara out of the pipe run, but will miss the court by a few feet, breaking that extended service run from the Marauders.
Yeah, I like that setting choice, and you got to do a little bit better there. When you're on a huge run like that, you have a great server at the line. You just want to keep the ball in play, keep the other team in that rut so you can keep going. But the error there gives them a break, and now they have a serve.
Otter to serve, but it will find the belly of the net, flipping it back in McMaster's favor.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You're really dug in, you're on your heels, the other team's rolling. You get the opportunity to come back and then you miss a serve. It's a little bit deflating.
Pass up from De Decker. Needs some help. Deep roll shot by Grauer. And Chase Victoria, she'll add a kill to the stat sheet.
Yeah, Sarah Trowbridge is going to want that one back. She makes the correct read. She's in the right spot. She moves early. Just fans on the dig a little bit. Doesn't pop it up where she wants to.
Trowbridge needs a little bit of help. And an error that time off the hand of Olivia De Decker.
That's a really tough swing to convert on. It's a bump set behind the attack line by about 2 yards. The Seahawks have to do a better job of getting those out-of-system balls on the net to give their hitter a chance to convert.
That's a nice pass from Memorial. Let's see if they can capitalize. And it's a net violation called on the Seahawks. But that's the type of passing they need to get into a rhythm of if they want to have some quality offensive opportunities.
Yeah, errors just compounding right now for the Seahawks, Amber.
Trowbridge digging deep for that one. It's a better attack. Delamere with the attack. Or pardon me. That was Grauer. That was Delamere on the attack. Free ball sent over by the Seahawks. Delamere, another opportunity with some hang time. Hodder lays out for it, but a nice touch, just not in the right direction.
Yeah, tough. Again, she's there. She's in the right spot. The block does a great job of slowing the attack down. She's in the position to make a play, and then the ball pops out behind her on the scoop. I think she had more time than she thought there. She didn't need to go to her quite down to the dig as deep as early.
Vidmar with a nice service run. Quality swing from De Decker. Another opportunity for the Seahawks, and De Decker ripping down the line. That is the play that Memorial's been looking for.
Now they're looking to build on that. It's a great swing. Two in the same rally, one cross court, and then the second one back across her body down the line. Nice floor kill from De Decker. Hopefully that gives the team a little bit of momentum to get back in this game.
Ashlyn Harris back to serve. Nice pass up from the Marauders. Going out to Julian, off the block, out of bounds for the kill.
The difference right now, McMaster, despite they're passing well, but some of these passes are even off the net, they're still able to convert when they're not in system. They're doing a good job of getting the ball on the net and giving their hitters an opportunity to make a play on a ball that isn't perfect.
Victoria's serve is passed up by Trowbridge. Needs a bit of support. De Decker tipping down the line. Nice coverage from Sundara. Julian swinging away. Trowbridge in great position. And the opposite will get shut down. That's a tandem of Abby Delamere as well as Olivia Julian. A very well-established block.
Yeah, nice job. Abby Delamere getting outside, sealing that block up. That ball had nowhere to go. There was no daylight there at all. Nice block for the Marauders.
Memorial breathing a sigh of relief as they get bailed out by Marauders' missed serve. Lydia Grauer to serve. Pass will need a little bit of support. Sundara swinging out of the back row. Gets a quality attack on it. Grauer having to adjust her approach. McKinnon. Nice quality choice from the Marauders, just taking good care of the ball.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. She does a great job of using the block. They're still out of system, but she finds a shot. The Seahawks did a good job there too. They mixed up their shots. There was a few roll shots to the pot. Unfortunately, they didn't come out with the point, but that's better play from the Seahawks. They're going to need more of this to get back into the game.
Olivia Julian to serve. And a laser of a serve off the hand of Julian. That's one of those ones where she gets enough height on her serve approach that it comes down at almost a downward trajectory. Very, very challenging to pass.
Yeah, that is an absolute bomb. Nice serve. It's no wonder that ball skipped off the outside of the arm. Tough spot for the Seahawks. They're down 12 points here. At this level of volleyball, that's a near insurmountable hill to come back from. So if I'm the Seahawks, I'm trying to settle in, chain a few points together, and start building a little bit of momentum for the second set.
Pass out from Trowbridge. Going outside to Decker. Another big block. That one a tandem of the substitute, Madeline Lutz, as well as Abby Delamere.
Yeah, we see Lydia Grauer, the fourth year from St. Louis, Missouri, come into the huddle. She's trying to settle the ship down, tell everyone we're okay, it's all good, run our systems. We've been here before, we know what to do, we just have to execute a little bit better.
It's a very well-placed serve, causing some trouble for Memorial. Cross-court shot is dug up by Grauer. And double contact called on the second touch.
This is interesting. There's a trap that you can fall into if you're McMaster. You're up 23-9 in the first set. You guys are flowing really well. There's not much pushback. But the trouble is, if we move on to a second set, they might lose a little bit of focus and not be as locked in because it was such an easy ride in the first set. And that's exactly what the Seahawks are going to hope for, because they're going to come out strong. And that's something that they can start to exploit to build an early lead in the second set here. So McMaster has to do a good job of staying focused and staying in the game to keep pressing, even though they're up so big in the first set.
Absolutely. McMaster cannot get complacent if they want to keep ahead and not leave room for Memorial to work their way back in. And fans, U Sports wants to hear from you about your viewing experience. Visit usportsfans.ca to join the fan advisory panel. Tell us about yourself and help shape the future of U Sports Championships broadcasts by giving us your feedback, and you'll have a chance to win U Sports prizes. Join the U Sports fan panel at usportsfans.ca. Quick timeout for Memorial as they're already back on the floor with seconds to spare.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that timeout was for. I guess you can't take them with you, no harm in not taking one here, but this game feels pretty gone for the Seahawks. You almost want to let it ride out and then move on to the next set, clear this one, and forget about it, flush it and move on.
Well, when we're talking pre-game, Josh, about Olivia Julian is a pretty dynamic server for McMaster, so could also just be Coach Rom's attempt to try and ice this server, so at least Memorial can build some momentum heading into set 2. That's a nice step run from Memorial as that tags the sideline perfectly. Taylor Johnson with the kill.
Yeah, nice shot from Taylor Johnson. We haven't seen a ton of middle runs from the Seahawks. They ran a few early on. I'd love to see them start getting the middle more involved, because that's going to open up everything else on the outside. McMaster been sealing double blocks on both the right and left side attackers on Memorial, making it really hard for them to convert.
Nice outside run. Madeline Lutz. Or pardon me, that's number 23, Lucy Shaver. She was subbed in the midway point of this first set.
McMaster's been doing an unbelievably good job of ripping the edge of the block. They're not floor kills, and they're not as pretty, but they're really, really smart shots.
Connolly with a service error.
Ava Connolly on the serve. Point goes to Memorial.
McMaster with possible set point and lots of wiggle room to work with here. Taylor Johnston to serve. Nice serve pass up from Julian, looking in the middle to Vidmar. Very tight to the net on the second attempt. Good effort from Memorial, but it will end up in favor of McMaster as they close out this first set 25-11. You're watching the 2025 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championships on CBC.
this is more than just a game. This is about who rules the court. The U Sports Basketball Championships, March 13th to 16th on CBC Gem.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Le sport en direct sur ici-tout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est ici-tout.tv.
Welcome back. You know, CBC is Canada's home for university sports action. The nation's top university women's and men's basketball teams are in Vancouver this weekend for the 2025 Indochino U Sports Final 8 presented by Victoria Creative Group. Catch the gold medal game on Sunday at 4 p.m. on CBC TV and Sportsnet, followed by the women's game at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet. UBC Sports on CBC, where champions are made.
Yeah, listen, Amber, the first set there, that was a tough one for the Seahawks. They hit minus 0.048. That's tough. You're not going to win a lot of volleyball games hitting below negative 100. And across the net, McMaster hit 455. They went 12 kills to 2 errors, whereas the Seahawks went 6 kills to 7 errors. There wasn't a lot that went right for the Seahawks that set, but it's the perfect opportunity for them to bounce back. Everything's flushed. It's 0-0. I hope they have a short memory. They're going to need it if they want to have a chance at winning this match. Again, if they're to get back in, they're hoping that McMaster gets complacent. They're like, yeah, we're going to roll them. That is the perfect opportunity for them to get back into this match.
It'll be Olivia Julian to serve for McMaster. Another tough serve. Needs a little bit of support to Decker. Going cross court, picked up. Going outside, Sundara. And just some hesitation there from Memorial. McMaster picks up the first point of set 2.
Yeah, Karen Greek in the right spot down the line. She gets a good outside hand on it. It pops just past the pin, but she's in the right spot. So it's those little tiny moments that they have to do a little bit better in to keep that ball alive and hopefully get a transition kill.
Another shaky pass from Memorial, but a nice side out nonetheless. It's Decker, goes off the block and out of bounds.
That's the shot. McMaster had that shot all through the first set, ripping the edge of the block. That's what they need more of. It's a great swing. That is a veteran swing for the first-year player.
Grar to serve there. Pass up from Brooks. And the middle run is shut down by Taylor Johnston. Nice couple points here for Memorial to kick off set 2.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of start that they needed. The last thing they needed was to get in a hole early, but instead, it's a great swing down the line and a huge block by Taylor Johnson in the middle. The perfect start if you're the Seahawks.
Nice pass from Brooks. Outside left-handed tip from Sundara. And just a cheeky play from the setter, Karen Greek. She opts to go on 2, pushing it deep.
Yeah, I think she got a little bit lucky there. McMaster in the right spot. She gives them a lot of time to get under it, but it just skips off the edge. Either way, 3-1 Seahawks. Great start.
Error off the hand of Lydia Grar as that goes long.
Now serving for the Marauders, number 16, Abby Delamere.
Abby Delamere now back to serve. And a service ace, it'll be for the middle.
Great serve, hard, flat delivery. Again, we saw that a couple times in the first set, dropping it right on the floor in front of the 3 passers for the Seahawks. Great serve, nice execution.
Pass up from DeDecker, needs some support. Feeding it right back to her. She's looking to tip down the line, but a well-established McMaster block says not today.
That's a good ball from Sarah Trowbridge. She gets that ball in front of the attack line on the net, and I like where DeDecker's at. She's trying to get a recycle on a tough ball, but it's a good job by the McMaster block, putting that ball straight down to the floor. No opportunity for a play continue.
Serve from Delamere, floats long.
Can't you just feel the Seahawks are a little bit more calm, a little bit more settled this set? It doesn't feel as frantic. Whatever the message was from head coach Sydney Rome in between the 2 sets, it seems to be working. The team's looking like they're in a great spot.
Decker's serve, pass up by Sundara. Feeding it on the right side to McKinnon, handled nicely. Deep swing there from Grar. And a big dig as that goes up and over off the platform of Trowbridge. Sundara looking for another opportunity. Deep to the corner, DeDecker lays out for it. Tipped over by Hodder. Going back to McKinnon, another dig from DeDecker.
Oh,
lines up
nicely
against
done.
Sundara.
Even though they didn't get the point, one of those long rallies with all that defensive grit is exactly what gets your team fired up. Nicely done from the Seahawks, but well earned from the Marauders. Nice solo block on the left side there.
Service error at the hand of Emma McKinnon.
And thus is volleyball. The missed serve worth just as many points as the 30-second rally just a point ago.
Johnston back to serve. Pass up from Julian, looking outside to Sundara, tipping deep. You see Sundara climbs the ladder, holds on to some hang time, and almost tricks the block to coming up early.
Yeah, nice job from Sully Sundara. I thought she was going way sharper. The ball seemed like it was way past the pin, but she does a great job of tipping that ball back door into the seam between 1 and 6.
Nice pass by DeDecker. Outside to Hodder. That is a textbook side out from the Seahawks, and that's what they can do with a quality pass to start it off.
Yeah, they were signing out at only 33% in the first set. They need to be signing out at a higher efficiency in order to have a chance in this set. It's a great job there. Great pass, great execution on the attack.
Ooh, and a cheeky set from Chase Victoria. I wasn't sure where that was going. Did you know where that was going?
Oh, that was excellent. Nicely
I think that
done.
fooled everybody in this gym.
Courtney Hodder, the left side for the Seahawks, jumped up with the middle, and that ball floated just over her hands. It couldn't have been much better than that.
Tricky pass there off the platform of DeDecker. An ace on the stat sheet for Angelica Vidmar.
Nice serve there. Well done. Wouldn't be surprised to see her go right back. Often if a server finds success, they're going to try and hit the same target. Not the case here, but.
Perfect pass from Trowbridge. But an error on the attack. That one from Courtney Hodder.
Yeah, good ball. Just a little bit of a low contact there from Hodder. She just runs it into the tape. They're in a good spot. Those are the kind of balls that if you're the Seahawks, you really need to at least make McMaster make a play on the ball.
Pass from Trowbridge causes some flustering from Memorial, but they get a quality swing over. But a cheeky roll shot off the off the hand of Olivia Julian drops in front of the Memorial defense. Coach Sydney Rom has seen enough, so she's going to call her first time out here of set number 2. McMaster with a bit of a lead, but lots of volleyball left to be played. CBC Sports is the home for university sports in Canada. Catch the best U Sports women's hockey teams as they face off in the 2025 Miller Waste Systems U Sports Women's Hockey Championship in Woolwich, Ontario. The action begins next Thursday, March 20th on CBC Gem, cbcsports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made.
Yeah, that last shot there from Olivia Julian was absolutely fantastic. You know, you often see teams, once they start to get blocked a lot, they'll start to go to that tip or that roll shot, that off-speed shot. She does a great job. They're already scoring a ton of points by swinging extremely hard, either through or around the block. And that time she decides to deliver the changeup and roll it straight into the pot. Because the Seahawks are sat so far deep expecting a huge kill, it's a really nice, savvy move from Olivia Julian there to drop that right into the pot.
Yeah, you either opt to the roll shot out of necessity or to get creative, and that was definitely a display of creativity from Olivia Julian.
Right now, if you're the Seahawks, it's pretty simple. You just have to find a way to pass the ball. Move your feet, get under it nice and early, and pop it up high to make a play. Just like that. Nice pass.
Perfect pass. Nice attack there from Ashlyn Harris as the dig goes up and over. Harris gets a second opportunity, but just wide by an inch or two here on the near sideline.
Even though they make the hitting error there, they're doing the right things. It's a one great pass that generates them a free ball. It comes down to the hitting error, but they're doing the right things there. There's another great pass.
And Grawer takes full advantage of the one-on-one matchup.
Nice swing by Lydia Grawer there.
And that'll break an extended service run from Vidmar. Let's see what Courtney Hodder can do from the line. It's a tough serve and good enough for an ace. That's about as good of a float serve as you can get.
There we go. Now, a little bit of pep in the step, a little bit of smile on the side of the Seahawks. A huge kill into a service ace is exactly what they needed in this spot. They cut the lead to 3.
Another tough serve, but it does sail a few feet long.
Yeah, I don't mind that aggression, Courtney Hodder. It's a nice, hard, flat, deep serve, pushing the McMaster Marauders passing line back to the end line. That one sails long, but again, you need to serve tough to dig yourself out of a hole. You can't do it by sending cupcakes over the net.
That's a nice swing from Lydia Grawer, and some really nice passing from Sarah Trowbridge. She put that one right on the dot for her setter.
Yeah, she struggled a little bit in the first set. It looked like a lot of the balls were catching her high as the Marauders were pushing that serve deep. She seemed to have found her footing. That's 3 passes in a row. Really nice, off the net. Perfect passes to be able to run their systems. And they're setting out at a way better rate halfway through this set here.
Pass up from Brooks, going outside to McKinnon. That bobbles in front of the Seahawks blockers. That counts a kill for McKinnon. Substitution coming on the floor for McMaster, number 20, Madeline Lutz. She's coming in for Emma McKinnon.
Now serving for McMaster, number 4, Olivia Julian.
Dangerous server at the line for the Marauders and Olivia Julian. A tough serve, floats long.
Good leave from the Seahawks there. They can take a breath here, a little sigh of relief. They get a free opportunity to get the ball back. They're still trailing 3. They've been chasing for a little bit here. It's going to take some good defense. They need to either get a huge block here or just get the ball up. Just dig it. If it beats the block, dig it up and see if we can get a transition kill.
Tipped over by Sundara, but it does catch the antenna. A little confused by that play because it is called in favor of McMaster.
Yeah, Coach Sydney Rome confused as well. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but
might have been off the blocker's fingertips that it went into the antenna.
Yeah, both coaches confused, and of course the ball never lies, and it sails into the bottom of the tape. So, nevertheless, Seahawks get the ball. That is a little confounding, though. Certainly looked like it was tipped into the antenna by McMaster, if you ask me.
Olivia DeDecker to serve. Pass up from Brooks. Teeing it up for Lutz as it's tipped over. Free ball sent over by Memorial. Outside to Sundara. She's looking cross court, but sends it a bit wide.
Nice job by the Seahawks block. She had nowhere to really go there. She had to try to curve all the way around and go 4-4. And it just over-rotates and hits it out. That's what the block made her do. So nice job by the Seahawks on defense, even though they didn't even touch the ball.
Service error from DeDecker. Hands the point back to the Marauders.
Again, I like what they're doing. They're serving aggressive. There's a lot of velocity. It's a flat serve. That one unfortunately hit the tape and drops down, but the idea is right.
Lutz to serve. That floats into the net. It looked like the toss was maybe a little bit too far in front of her. She was trying very hard not to have a foot fault. Just couldn't quite get the right momentum behind the ball.
Very polite of both teams, just trading missed serves back and forth, waiting to get back into a rhythm. I would say that probably advantages the Seahawks because McMaster can't get back into that rhythm that led them to success in the first set.
And a service ace off the hand of Taylor Johnston for Memorials. They pull within one.
The Seahawks are finding success serving into that seam between positions 5 and position 6, making those passers decide who's going to take that ball. I'd like to see more of the same here.
That's a better pass from the Marauders, tipped over by Sundara. Tight to the net here on the second contact, some scrambles, free ball sent over. Let's see what McMaster can do with it. And Sundara catching Memorial, just trying to get back into position, takes full advantage.
Yeah, Olivia DeDecker got pulled all the way over to the left side on that scrambled coverage. She was laying on top of her teammate and couldn't recover to play defense in 6. It's a really heads-up play from Sundara just to roll that ball to the open court before DeDecker had a chance to get back.
Sundara with the serve there. Nice pass by Grar. Back row attack, DeDecker tipping it deep. Julian swinging big. Trowbridge gets a hand under it. Free ball sent over by the Seahawks. Back row attack for Sundara. She's looking for the corner, but a bit wide it'll go.
I love the setting choice from Chase Victoria there. She's moving the ball around extremely well, keeping the defense of the Seahawks guessing. Bit of a misfire there on the pipe run, but she's making good choices.
Karen Greek's serve will find the net tape.
2-point game. The Seahawks have found the opportunity to steal a couple of balls that off of their own serve to get back in this game. So they trail 2. All they need here is to side out on this ball and steal one more, and then we'll be knotted up at 17.
Sub here for McMaster. Number 22, Jennifer Wu, coming in to serve. Pass out from Trowbridge. Going back to Lydia Grar, who cuts in to run the middle lane. Nice heads-up play by the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's a great X run. What the Seahawks did there is they send their middle on a step around to the right side, hoping to confuse the middle blocker on the other side of the net and open up that middle lane for the right side blocker coming in to attack from behind.
Hodder to serve. An assist from the net tape as that trickles within the 3-meter line. All squared up here at 17.
That's exactly what I was talking about. A quick side out, one quick steal, and now we're in the home stretch, 1st to 8. I love the Seahawks' response after that first set. They're playing really well right now.
Pass up from Sundara going outside to Julian. That bobbles in front of the Seahawks blockers. Julian with the kill.
Yeah, Ashlyn Harris kind of kicking herself on that one. She's in the right spot to make a play, but she doesn't press her arms over the net into that block, and it dribbles down the front of her.
Victoria back to serve. And a nice serve it is. Trowbridge handles it beautifully. DeDecker cutting in between the McMaster blockers. Not sure where she found some space, but worked through it nicely. Let's take a look on the replay. It looks like the middle is just a little late to close, leaving a bit of real estate for her to work with.
Man, she is playing with authority, though. She's doing a great job. There's no fear in her play at all. She looked a little bit nervous in the first set, but this set, she's really found her own. She is crushing balls this set.
Hannah Grabka in as a service sub. Pass up from Brooks going back to Julian as she squeaks through the seam.
Yeah, McMaster playing pretty steady. They're just enacting the same game plan that they did in the first set, but they're getting a little bit of pushback from the Seahawks this set. They're still doing a great job of ripping the edge of the block. I think they're passing fairly well as well. But the Seahawks are playing better this set, so we got ourselves a closer match.
Yeah, the Seahawks already have more kills in this second set than they had in the entirety of the first. And there's another one to add to the stat sheet. That off the hand of Olivia Grar.
I'd still like to see the Seahawks pass a little bit better to try to open up their middles, because right now if they keep passing the ball at the attack line, they're going to have a really tough time running their middles. So McMaster is going to be able to continue loading up on the outside block.
Pass up from Brooks, looking in the middle. A 60-lane run. Abby Delamere with the kill.
Yeah, nice shot from Abby Delamere there. She doesn't kill the ball. She just takes exactly what the defense gives her and rolls the ball into that seam between positions 6 and 5 right to the floor. Nice kill.
Kaylee Young in to serve for McMaster. And that drops. As soon as it crossed the 3-meter line, it drilled straight down.
Being able to generate an ace at this late stage of the game when the game is this close is such an advantage. Nice serve there by number 17, Kaylee Young. Great serve, dropping it right in front of the passing line of the Seahawks.
Pass up from Trowbridge. Going outside to Decker, tipping it deep to the corner. Young is there to scoop it up. Zandara trying to adjust, but that's coming from behind her head. It's an awkward angle. I appreciate the aggression on the attack, but ends up in an error.
Yeah, that's such a hard swing to convert on. The ball's coming from directly behind her in deep position 5. I would have liked to see her put a free ball on top of the setter there to try to knock the Seahawks out of system where they've struggled from for the majority of this game.
Pass up from Julian, flicking it back, but it won't matter. It's a net violation called on Memorial. Still, we'll give some credit to Madeline Lutz. That was a nice swing.
Also checking back in for McMaster number 18, Chase Victoria.
Chase Victoria checking back in for McMaster.
Yeah, 22-20. I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Sydney Rome take a timeout here soon. It's a close game. She has 2 of them. She might as well use one to try and slow the game down a little bit here.
Otter swinging nice and high on top of that outside ball. Zandara catching some hands as that goes deep for Memorial. Free ball sent over. And Chase Victoria getting creative as she throws that down at the last second, and very well disguised dump.
Yeah, Victoria doing an awesome job there to show it super late. She had 2 hands up like she was going to set until the last possible second when she dropped her other hand and dumped that ball right down to the pot. Textbook form there on the dump.
Looking outside of Zandara cross court. Some tricky play here, some scrambles. Marauders trying to sort it out. Good pickup from Grauer. Back row attack from De Decker. Memorial comes out on top of that extended rally.
Yeah, now it'll be a test of the Seahawks defense, right? The job of Taylor Johnson at the service line right now is to put a tough ball in to try to knock McMaster out of system. And hopefully the Seahawks are going to get a dig here that they can turn into a transition kill to make this a 1-point game.
Time out McMaster.
McMaster coach Nathan Jansen going to call a timeout here as the Seahawks are within striking distance, and the red zone is set 2.
Volleyball supplier of youth sports and supporter of university volleyball in Canada. Visit McMasterSports.ca to get your official ball today. McMaster Canada and
CBC Sports is the home for university sports in Canada. Catch the best youth sports women's hockey teams as they face off in the 2025 Miller Waste Systems Youth Sports Women's Hockey Championship in Woolwich, Ontario. The action begins next Thursday, March 20th on CBC Gem, CBCSports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. Youth Sports on CBC, where champions are made. Very exciting to see all this amazing CBC coverage at the youth sports level. You know, depending on where you are in the country, it's the biggest game in the province. You look at the Atlantic, and you know, the university sports is the best of the best they have out there in terms of high performance sport. It's very exciting to see it being made available across the country.
Yeah, they really appreciate it. Even out on the East Coast, you know, they love this team out there. Their fans traveled all the way to Winnipeg to watch the game today. We have a bunch of them here at Investors Group Athletic Center on the U of M campus that are having a great time. They're decked out in like Santa hats or something over there in the corner. I'm not really sure what that is, but the fans are here to support.
It's a Seahawk.
Is that what it is?
It's a Seahawk cap. Pass up there from Julian going outside. So Zandara picked up off the block by Grauer. Back row attack from De Decker. Julian slides over to scoop it up. Dara getting another opportunity. The deep corner will propel McMaster to a possible set point. It's a nice high disciplined swing. That back corner is a good place to score.
Yeah, no one else they'd rather have on the service line right now than Solis and Dara.
Pass up from Guar is high. The Joust free ball sent over. Outside to Julian, and Olivia Julian, our player to watch, will close out set 2 for McMaster as they regain control and take it 25-21. More volleyball coming up. You're watching the the 2025 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship on CBC.
Bisons are on the move, always on the go, charging ahead, making a difference in Manitoba and around the world, in transportation, in Canadian football, and in journalism. Where can you find Bisons? Right here, at the center of it all.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
Feel every hit, point, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline. Our passionate team unlocks a world of possibilities with digital broadcasting made simple, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. Proudly Canadian, ISI Live, be there.
Le sport en direct sur icitout.tv. 100% énergie. 100% gratuit. Votre meilleur plan de match pour voir des performances exceptionnelles sur l'appareil de votre choix. C'est icitout.tv.
CBC Sports is the home for university sports in Canada. Catch the best U Sports men's hockey teams as they face off in the 2025 BioSteel University Cup live from Ottawa. The action begins Thursday, March 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on CBC Gem, CBCSports.ca, and CBC Sports YouTube. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made. Now, Josh, you have the stats from the first 2 sets in front of you. What's the story on the page?
Yeah, well, the first set, the Seahawks really struggled. They hit minus 0.48, and then in the second set there, they hit way better. They sided out at a 60% efficiency clip, and they hit 208. Now, McMaster still outplaying them in the offensive department at the very least. They had 14 kills, McMaster, that set there, where Memorial has struggled to get double-digit kills in both sets, starting with 6 in the first set and 9 in the second set. So they are playing better, but the bar was pretty low. They had a rough first set, so here's hoping they improve on that performance again in the third set, and we have a nice close set here. They're trending in the right direction, though.
Julian on the first side out there. Her set was pretty close to the net, so she opts the tip. Looking for some hands, but out of bounds, it'll find.
Yeah, that one will go down as an error on the stat sheet for Olivia Julian, but I thought it might have caught hands. The down official said no, so he has a better view than me, but I thought it was a good strategic play either way.
Pass up there from Julian looking in the middle. That is a beautiful side out. Abby Delamere picking up the kill.
Yeah, Abby Delamere, the third-year middle blocker. She's co-captain of the team, and she really leads by example. You can tell she has such a strong court presence, lots of energy, lots of positivity, always supporting her teammates and doing the best when she gets the ball that she can.
Service error there from Olivia Julian.
Seahawks up 2-1. Now serving for Memorial.
That'll bring Olivia DeDecker out of Kipling, Saskatchewan, back to serve. Pass up from Julian, going all the way out to Sindara. And she'll tip that one in front of the Memorial blockers, but got to give some credit as well to Abby Delamere, who stepped in to set that ball. She'll pick up an assist.
Yeah, that's a great out-of-system set. She puts her in a perfect spot to be able to score there, and Sully Sindara with the hard throw-down tip. It's a really tough one to defend, even if your block's in the right spot.
Great coverage there from DeDecker. And a block from Memorial to follow it up. That one looked like it was all Taylor Johnston.
Yeah, I think that was all Taylor Johnston as well. Nice job sealing shoulder to shoulder with her outside blocker and putting that floor right down, putting that ball, right down to the floor. Sindara's done a good job of managing those balls most of the set, but she's usually challenging the line blocker, not the middle blocker. That time she decides to go after the middle blocker, and she pays for it.
Taylor Johnston now to serve. It'll float a few feet by. Now serving for McMaster, number 1, Emma McKinnon. Pass up from Grar. Otter just having to send over a free ball. Outside to Sindara, tipping into the pot. I think she had a bit of a stutter step in her approach as she adjusted to the location of the set, but she does a great job adjusting and making sure that she's still getting a quality attack. Even if it's not a swing, just a well-placed tip can do the job just as well.
Yeah, she did a great job there. She was expecting a speed ball, but the setter was pushed way back, and she did her best to manage it.
Middle run, good coverage from the Marauders. Sindara with another opportunity. Memorial just not quite finding an in-system rhythm. And Chase Victoria is 3 for 3 on her dump attempts to score. She does such a good job finding the opportunities to strike when they present themselves.
She has such good court awareness. She realizes there that Courtney Hodder is outside the court after playing that free ball. The lane is wide open, and all she does is get her hand above the net and say, "Thank you very much," and tuck that ball straight to the floor.
There's a nice swing from Courtney Hodder. She goes high off hands.
Great swing by Courtney Hodder, outside hitter, third year from Main Point, Newfoundland. Does a great job getting on top of that ball and ripping it right off the top of the block, high hands and out of bounds.
Pass up from Brooks outside to Sindara, and what an angle off the hand of Sully Sindara. She curved that one.
I mean, she's been showing her aptitude to do that all game long, and there's still not much you can do about it. If your system of defense is sending the offside blocker underneath the block to pick up tips, there's going to be no one home inside the 3-meter line in position 4.
Sindara there to serve. And a kill to an ace. Sully Sindara making her presence known.
Wow, she is quite the dynamic player. Similar to some of the serves we saw last night out of a few players in the quarterfinals yesterday, she gets so much whip on that ball and drops it down to the floor. That is a tough one to pass.
There's another heavy-handed serve. Memorial able to corral it this time to send over a free ball. But what a transition. Somehow Memorial able to get under that heavy-handed attack. But to follow it up, Angelica Vidmar just goes against the grain to throw that ball to 5.
Yeah, McMaster is flying around the court right now. They pretty much aren't making any mistakes, and they've built themselves a 4-point lead, well-deserved. They're executing extremely well on offense and ripping from the service line right now.
Another ace for Sully Sindara. She's a really fun one to watch. As far as U Sports volleyball goes, she's a little bit undersized for what we would consider typical for an outside attacker, but she just has that next level of athleticism where she can jump like higher than the average volleyball player for sure, and she can get up above the block as good as the rest of them.
Yeah, pretty impressive for a 5'9" outside hitter to be banging balls around like 6'1", 6'2" middle blockers.
Free ball sent over from Memorial. Back row, or pardon me, not back row, going back to Vidmar on the 60 lane.
And there's head coach Sydney Rome calling the timeout to kind of slow this game down, talk to her team, and figure out a way to get back into this game because it's slipping away. 10-4, they're down 6 right now.
I really like the dynamic offense that Chase Victoria is stringing together. She's making the Memorial blockers having to guess where the next ball is going. She's getting creative with what lanes she's offering to her middles. It's just a very tough offense for Memorial to defend.
Yeah, her distribution is fantastic, and I think that goes back again to her court awareness that we were talking about earlier when she's dumping the balls into great lanes. Yeah, they're doing great.
You know, CBC is the home for university sports in Canada. Catch the gold medal game of the 2025 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championships this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, right here on CBC Sports. All of the action for U Sports Women's Volleyball Gold is exclusively on CBC Gem, cbcsports.ca, and in the CBC Sports app. U Sports on CBC. Chase the glory.
Yeah, just to finish that thought earlier about Chase Victoria's distribution coming into this set, it's 3 kills, 3 kills, 2 kills, 2 kills, 5 kills, 7 kills. Like, she's moving the ball around to everybody. We're not seeing 1 or 2 players get all the kills. She's doing a great job of running her offense and spreading the ball around.
And that's a luxury as a setter when you have offensive options that you can trust no matter what. There's a nice swing off the hand of Lydia Grar. I like that option for them to go to her when she's on the left. Just gives a different look as a left-sided attacker, or probably left-handed attacker, typically swinging on the right.
Yeah, we haven't called the name of the left side from St. Louis, Missouri too much this set, but when she gets the ball, she seems to execute pretty well.
Service error off the hand of Courtney Hodder. Vidmar to serve. Pass up from De Decker. Flicking it back to Grar. Nice slowdown by the Marauders block. Back row from Sundara with some finesse, but picked up well by Memorial. Nice dig from Sundara off the heavy hand of Hodder. Now an opportunity for Grar, and she'll take full advantage of that one-on-one. Lydia Grar has come to play.
Yeah, we were talking about the distribution of Chase Victoria, but how about Karen Greek in that rally? She is really commanding the floor. Great recognition to see who's out of the ability to swing well on a ball. Maybe the left side gets sucked in a little bit too much, so she flips the pipe. Her distribution that rally was fantastic.
Anna Grabka in as a service sub. She's in relief of Ashlyn Harris. Pass up from McKinnon. And this time, oh, pardon me. It looked like Memorial was able to recover on that one, but on the second contact, the ball did touch the net on the outside of the antenna. That is an automatic out of bounds. So Chase Victoria still perfect on her dump attempts, 4 for 4 in the offense.
Yeah, it's a little bit unintuitive if you're not super familiar with volleyball, but all of the netting that's outside that red and white antenna is actually out of bounds. So as soon as the ball contacts that space, the play is immediately blown down. Hence our line official waving the flag above her head.
Substitution for the Marauders, number 11, Peyton Entwistle coming in for Chase Victoria. Lydia Grar back to serve now for Memorial. And a tricky serve. Tipped over by the Marauders. And De Decker having to cut way far inside. That out-of-system ball puts it in the net. Another substitution for the Marauders. Number 20, Madeline Lutz. She's in for number 1, Emma McKinnon. Julian to serve. And a flat, tough float handled well by Trowbridge. De Decker looking down the line, out of bounds, it'll fly.
Yeah, those are the ones you have to convert on. It's a great pass on a really tough server that's serving hard, flat balls deep into the court. That's one you can't really make a hitting error on. You really want to convert that to get Olivia Julian off the line.
Pass up by Trowbridge, looking in the middle, paintbrushed over by Johnston. Roll shot sent over by Lutz. Outside to Decker, looking for that far corner, but out of bounds. It'll fly just by a few inches. It's a good option, just missed by a little bit too much.
Yeah, back-to-back errors for Decker now. She's done well all match long, and all it takes is one kill to get back into the flow of things.
Another tough serve. That puts Greek on the run to Decker, looking for that corner, but Julian's there to cover. Out to Sindara. Good coverage by Grauer. Thrown over on second touch. And a solo block as Taylor Johnston matches up against Vidmar. Or pardon me, that was Abby Delamere on the attack. But Taylor Johnston will count as the block.
Man, Karen Greek, she's going to need a breath and a little bit of water soon. She's running all over the court. The Seahawks have to do a better job of getting her the ball on the net. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to run their systems, and they're going to keep giving free balls over to McMaster.
Pass up from Brooks. Sindara flies in with a bit of a shrug as the one-handed set was coming with a lot of pace, but Sindara handles it nicely. Checking in as a service sub, number 22 on the stat sheet, or pardon me, on the roster as a libero, but Jennifer Wu coming in to serve. Nice tough serve from Wu, but handled nicely by Decker. Johnson on the step, throws it long.
Yeah, a quick note on Peyton Entwistle, the 5'10" setter out of Jerseyville, Ontario. She's doing a great job. She came in off the bench cold in this third set here. She's doing a great job moving around the court, spreading the ball out to her options, putting it in the right spot where it needs to be. Nice job coming off the bench.
I like that option from Karen Greek to go back to Johnson for a chance at redemption. She had basically an identical look in the previous point, had the attack error, but answers it with the kill.
Yeah, nice job there. Correct the error of the last time, better the ball, and get the kill for her team.
Johnston back to serve now for Memorial. Serve floats about a foot long.
Yeah, head coach Nathan Jansen here of McMaster. He's in his second season as the head coach of the women's volleyball program. It looks like he's getting people in from his bench. They've developed a bit of a lead here. They're not under too much pressure, and he's taking the opportunity to reward some of his players with some court time from the bench, and they've done a great job when they've got on. We were just talking about Peyton Entwistle, the setter, and now he gets another body in off the bench. In Chase Victoria back out there now.
That was a nice run, good connection between Chase Victoria and Angelica Vidmar. And that serve did not miss by much off the hand of Madeline Lutz. Now to serve for Memorial, number 4, Karen Greek. Nice pass from Julian right on the dot. Vidmar and Memorial not quite able to corral it. Just a textbook side out from the Marauders.
Great dig from the fourth-year libero out of Sunnyside, Newfoundland, though. Sarah Trowbridge does a great job getting underneath that ball, popping it up. And a bit of a miscommunication in the back row as that ball takes a deflection out of bounds, but she does a great job getting that ball up.
Sindara to serve. Pass up by Decker. Outside. Attack of Otter is blocked but recycled. Free ball sent over by Memorial. Julian on the attack, and the cross-court shot off the hand of Olivia Julian will score for McMaster.
Both Olivia Julian and Sully Sindara have mastered that wrist-away shot. Nicely done. Great floor kill, carving up the block there.
The substitution for McMaster, number 23, Lucy Shaver, just came on the floor for Olivia Julian as McMaster extends this third set lead. Sindara's serve goes wide out the far sideline.
You run a little bit of a risk there when you're serving from position 1 to position 1, putting tail and curving that serve all the way across the passer's line. You have less court to serve at when you're doing that, so it's easy to put it out the side.
Hodder to serve. Pass up from Brooks. Brooks will send over a free ball. In the middle to Ashlyn Harris, but scooped up. And Shaver coming in off the bench picks up a kill.
Yeah, Lucy Shaver. Again, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but nothing gets the bench fired up like someone just getting subbed in to earn a huge kill. The bench from McMaster loved that shot.
Yes, Shaver just in her first year. Nice to be able to see some court time at Nationals.
Yeah, the native of Surrey, Ontario does a great job there.
Kaylee Young back to serve for the Marauders.
Nice to get a little bit of experience in a national championship in your first year, hey?
Yeah, it'll be fun. Outside to DeDecker, looking deep, out of bounds it'll go.
I like that the Seahawks, they're down big here, 12 points, and yet they're not tipping, they're not giving free balls over, they're still swinging hard. They're playing with a lot of courage and a lot of resilience.
Pass up from Strawbridge goes right into the hands of the Marauders. Twice in a row, and the Marauders just flushing it down, keeping Memorial on their heels.
And now, here we are on match point in the third set. McMaster Marauders up 24-11 here. Looking to close this out and punch their ticket to the Consolation Final.
Nice pass by Hodder. And it'll be Lydia Grar to fend off that possible match point.
McMaster leads 24-12. Now serving for McMaster.
Ashlyn Harris back to serve for Memorial.
Few set points to defend here for the Seahawks.
And a service error it'll be for Memorial. The McMaster Marauders take the match, or pardon me, take this set 25-12 and take the match in straight sets.
Yeah, a tough one for the Seahawks there. That entire match really just showed the importance of having a strong serve receive. I think a lot of people that are fans of volleyball, they love the huge kills and the huge blocks and things like that, but those are the result of foundational passing skills, and the Seahawks really struggled in serve receive today. They weren't in system very often. They weren't getting passes up to the net, and it's really hard to win volleyball matches if you're not passing well.
Absolutely, yeah, a lot of service pressure from the McMaster Marauders, and a well-earned victory from McMaster. They will advance to the Consolation Final. Memorial's national journey will end with this match. Now, after they do their handshakes, we will take a quick moment to recognize the Mikasa players of the game. We'll just let the squads thank everybody they want to thank the officials, thank each other for a game well played.
Both coaches there exchanging a really nice hug. They had a moment there at the end. We didn't really get to talk about it, but this is head coach Cindy Rome's return to the University of Manitoba, where she won a national championship in 2014, playing under head coach Ken Bentley. So she's really familiar with the University of Manitoba, obviously, and I'm sure it was nice for her to come back, even though the result wasn't exactly what she would have hoped for.
Yeah, this is the first appearance for Memorial at Nationals in the last 25 years. So for them to just make it to this stage is a feat for them. It's the second time Memorial has played at the Women's Volleyball National Championship. So well-earned appearance here for the Memorial Seahawks.
Yeah, take nothing away from them as well. They obviously had a fantastic season in the AUS and earned their spot to be here at the National Championship.
Mikasa player of the game for Memorial will be Olivia DeDecker. She saw so much volume, and as a rookie, what an honor for her to be able to earn that player of the game on the national stage.
She was rock solid all match long. She had a great job.
And our player to watch for McMaster will win the Mikasa Player of the Game, Olivia Julian. Also very well deserved the second year out of Toronto. Had a stellar game from the service line, on the attack, and defensively as well. Just a well-rounded appearance.
She had a great match. She really played well on offense and defense, had a ton of digs in position 6 as well. Well-deserved Mikasa Player of the Game for her, and for Olivia De Decker as well.
Now coming up for the next Consolation semifinal, we'll have we will have St. Mary's and Saskatchewan squaring off in their Consolation semifinal. That matchup coming at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. On behalf of myself and the entire U Sports on CBC crew here in Winnipeg, this is Amber Mayer reminding you of the final score, 3-0 in favor of McMaster. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
U Sports on CBC, presented by les championnats U Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada, Nike, Fox 40, Veraburn Medical Supplies, Les Bagues Baron Rings, APAR, and by BioSteel.